Hello everybody, Ardir here. Since last time I did a review, a lot of cards have been revealed. So let's go at it and see what they have. We left at Lightforged Blessing and look how many got revealed. So let's start from here and then go up. Lightforged Blessing, twin spell. So basically you can cast it now and then either in the same turn or like later down the road. 2 mana, give a minion, a friendly minion, lifesteal. When I first looked at the card and reviewed it on stream, I thought that you just don't want this effect. Also, I think I saw the card as being 4 mana. At 2 mana, it's much more playable. So I have to rethink a bit how I feel about the card. I don't know. I don't really want to pay 2 mana to heal with the condition of having a minion on the board. You already have 2 mana, heal 4, and draw a card. This has to heal you like, I don't know, 8 for it to be worth it. I just don't see it being that good. I don't. Yeah, I just don't see the utilization of it. Also, lifesteal doesn't stack, so you need 2 different minions, and then like, it's only good in a position where you're fighting for the board with somebody, ideally against an aggro deck, and you want to like prevent dying. It can be good sideboard against an aggro deck, I guess, but other than that, I just don't see this being playable. Another twin spell, Unleash the Beast. 6 mana hunter spell, summon a 5/5 wyvern with rush. There is already a 5/5 rush, militia commander for warrior. It's 4 mana, and it starts as a 5/5, but after your turn ends, it becomes a 2/5. So with that, we can conclude that a 5/5 rush, that is permanently 5/5 rush, is worth like 5 mana, maybe 4 point something mana. We would probably play a 5 mana 5/5 rush in some decks. This is 1 mana more, but you can cast it twice. And it's a spell, which allows you to play it with Zul'jin. Seems a bit slow, I'm not gonna lie. But that's the thing with twin spells. You slightly overpay, and then you slightly overpay. But if it fills your curve to the degree that it gives you like 2 nice turns in a row, maybe it's worth it. And then, how does it work with Zul'jin? Do you get 2 5/5s with Rush and the second part of the twin spell in your hand? I'm not sure, but this is definitely good in a Zul'jin deck. The question is, does the Zul'jin deck even want to play this? Maybe. Maybe we'll see it as a one-off. Maybe in aggressive metagames where we tempo-oriented metagames, we would see it as a 2-off in Zul'jin decks. If Zul'jin decks don't find this as being too greedy. But for example, I would play this over Savannah Highmane in a Zul'jin deck. So yeah, maybe it will see play. Seems decent. Decent. Again, maybe we are misevaluating twin spells, because like we're just drawing the math, just pure numbers, and we don't think of the real situations where maybe your turn would be dead, but because you have the twin spell, you have something to do, and that's worth more than 5 mana. Keeper Staladris. 2 mana, 2/3, already decent stat line, it's average. After you cast a choose one spell, add copies of both choices to your hand. Seems really good. Immediate synergies, Power of the Wild. Then you can cast Power of the Wild again. It's just so nutty. It really does seem super solid. I like it a whole bunch. I think it's gonna be like very good, but not on Fandral level. Fandral casted all the effects instantly, and that was like a bit better than getting them into a hand. It's kind of like a budget Fandral, but if the metagame is like low power level enough, this is gonna like shine. Because Fandral was insane. It was one of the best druid cards ever. Never surrender! Exclamation mark. Paladin Secret. When your opponent casts a spell, give your minions +2 health. Good. It's very good. I like it a lot. I think it's gonna be a staple in Secret Paladin decks. The question is, how good Secret Paladin decks are going to be. I'm definitely going to make another video after we see all the cards, when I'm gonna do meta predictions. I'm really curious. But this is a very good secret. I don't think it's Noble Sacrifice level, but it's probably better than Redemption. It's probably better than Repentance. It's just very good secret. Probably also not an Avenge level, obviously. But it's good. It's very good. Evil Genius. 2 mana 2/2. Sure. Destroy a friendly minion. Add 2 random lackeys to your hand. And again, the lackeys. So hard to evaluate. We put them at 2 mana worth of value. Right? Like, you had to spend 1 mana for the lackey. And what he was doing, it was 2 mana. So a lackey basically is just +1 raw mana. Because you spend 1, you get 2 mana worth of effects. So, destroy a friendly minion. Can we make Lucky Zoo work? Or maybe not necessarily Lucky Zoo. Just play a bunch of useless minions in Zoo. And then just play this card for tempo, because the Luckies can offer you some good tools. So I feel like if you can build a Zoo with a lot of tokens, and I feel you can with the spell they got. Let me show you. Where is it? Wait, where is the Warlock spell? Oh, Rafam Scheme. Which summons 1/1 imps, depending on how many turns you hold it in your hand. So with cards like Rafam Scheme, I feel like this card can work. So sure, it's good. Depends on the lackeys, and I think lackeys are good. Evil Conscriptor. 2 mana 2/2, Devratal, add the lackey to your hand. Pretty solid. This you can play it on your own. He doesn't need any combo. The question is, will Tempo Priest be a thing? Probably not. I don't think it has enough tools to be a thing. But you never know. We still have Divine Spirit, Inner Fire. We lost Shadow Visions and we lost Radiant Elemental, so pretty huge hits. But Divine Spirit, Inner Fire, Cleric is still in the game. This is going to go in a Divine Spirit, Inner Fire deck because lackeys offer you some tools to just control the board and do shenanigans pretty much. Varesa, the Windrunner. Or, I mean, without the 7 mana 5/6. Not that good. And it equips a weapon, which every single time you attack with it, your hero gets spell damage. +2 until the end of the turn. Is this good enough to like make a Burn Hunter work? It really depends on the other tools that you get in this set. If you get any other tools. But I'm still not sure. This is basically like Rogue Delar replacement in a way for Spell Hunter. It could be interesting. Hunter has a lot of board disruption spells. And then this kind of fits with those. And then those fit with Zul'jin. Zul'jin being one of the remaining heroes in the game. He might be the way you want to build Hunter. So probably Varesa might see play even if she's not completely amazing. Just because you already play a spell deck for Zul'jin, you might as well just play this to buff your spells. I'm just putting it out there. Yeah, it's a good card. I don't think it's fantastic, but I think it has huge potential just because of Zul'jin. Henge Clan Hogsteed. 2 mana 2/1 Rush. Devrattle. Summon a 1/1 Murloc. This card is surprisingly good. It's basically a bluegill. That's a beast. That you want to use for trading, and then you get the 1/1. The question is, in what deck would you want to do that? Answer, in a Knife Juggler deck. I think it can be a solid card for like playing for the board. So if we have a meta game where you play, I don't know, Zoo with Knife Jugglers and with tokens, this might be a fit. It's kind of like an Argent Horse Rider, but it's 2 mana. Do you remember the 3 mana 2/1 Divine Shield with charge? This is very similar to it. It's 1 mana cheaper. It's really good card. Like, Horse Rider was only better when you could buff it, because together with something like Cold Blood, let's say, you could push damage and then the Divine Shield was protecting it. Here, you kind of have to use this exclusively for trading, and you cannot go face, obviously. But if you use it exclusively for trading, it gives you the Horse Rider, but for 1 mana cheaper. Also, I guess it's not the same, because you summon a 1/1. If you'd summon a 2/1, it would be like similar to Horse Rider, but still, 1 mana cheaper is insane. I'm gonna call this card is great. Bam! Right now. 4 out of 5 stars. Geppetto! Neutral legendary. When I saw this card, I was a bit scared because this seems scary good. Draw 2 minions from your deck and set their attack, health, and cost to 1. Basically, it's cloning gallery, but it only works once. So like, once you draw them, they're permanently 1 mana 1/1s. So you have to use them to win the game and or do some combos. So this has a lot of utilizations. Utilizations with Dev Rattle decks and utilizations with combo decks. Let's say you're playing this in Mali Druid. You get 1 mana Mali Ghost, 1 mana Floop, 1 mana Faceless, 1 mana Alexstrasza. There's so many cards you can hit. And this is just the nuts. It's scary. It really is kind of scary card. The question is, how consistent is it going to be? Because it only gives you 2 minions. You need to kind of not draw cards until your turn 8. Or not draw that many cards. And this cannot be your main win condition. This has to be a secondary win condition. You cannot rely the whole deck around Geppetto. It's kind of similar with Cloning Gallery. And that's the reason why Cloning Gallery didn't see play at the beginning, because it was very hard to formulate a deck which could win without Cloning Gallery, but it was better with Cloning Gallery. And when you hit Cloning Gallery, you just destroy them. When you don't, you can still win for other ways. It's going to be similar for Geppetto, and also the fact that he's a neutral, I think, is going to make it see play for sure. If not straight up from the beginning with the next expansions, this is a very scary card. It might be the new bars, but it's 8 mana, so at least you have some counterplay. Just kill them before that. I don't know. But this card is scary good. Dragon Speaker. 5 mana, 3/5. Battlecry, give all dragons in your hand +3/3. Seems good, but it's super slow. Already, if you buff 1 dragon, you're breaking even. But you would want to buff 2 dragons in Constructed to do some power plays worth playing this guy in your deck. How consistently are you gonna play this with 2 dragons in your hand and then have enough time to get the value out of your dragons? I can see this working if you have some dragons that have rush or charge to instantly be able to cash in on the bonus. Otherwise, I just feel like it's slow. But it might work depending on what dragons we have at our disposition. 3 mana, 3/2. Dev Rattle, add 2 4/4 dragons to your hand. And the 4/4 dragons are 4 mana. 4 mana 4/4 is bad. It's under vanilla. Vanilla is 4 mana 4/5. So you're getting under vanilla cards. You're playing an under vanilla card to get under vanilla cards. So you basically have to use them in synergies. Otherwise, it's trash. But I don't know. Does Dragon Paladin have enough tools to be a thing? I need to look at all the cards that remain in standard. But yeah, this card on its own is bad. It's only for like synergistic purposes. It could see play in a dragon deck, obviously. And this card needs to have a lot of synergy to work. So I'm kind of on the edge on these Paladin cards, but they might work, who knows. Mass Resurrection. Summon 3 friendly minions that died this game. Similar to the Priest Spellstone. The Priest Spellstone could go from 2 to 3 to 4 minions resurrected. This is like a straight up 3. And instead of 7 mana, you pay 9. Playable card. For sure. Why not? The thing with Spellstone decks, if they could, they would play more Spellstones. So, yeah. It might see play. I like it. I like it a lot. A bit slow, but I like it. But yeah, it's a bit slow. Ten more cards. Sludge Slurper. 1 mana 2/1. Battlecry. Add a lackey to your hand. Overload 1. Very solid. So 1 mana 2/1. And already next turn you can play your lackey. That's very important. That's super important. So basically turn 1, 2/1. Turn 2 lackey. Lackey is worth like 2 mana. So you make up for the fact that this guy overloaded you. Oh. Seems interesting. The thing is, you usually don't want to play the lackeys on curve. You want to be responsive. So like, if your opponent does nothing, playing a Lucky on curve probably won't be that good. But if we have a metagame where you want to fight for the board, playing a Lucky on 2 is what you want to do. Still very interesting card. Also, like, maybe people can build kind of like an aggressive Shaman. Also with the Lichem 2-mana Shaman weapon, that card is nuts. Like, if that card is not gonna be broken in the next expansions, then Shaman really got bad cards. Because that card is just sick on its own, but it needs some support from the class. Shaman looks exciting already with the control tools that they got. Now they get some aggro tools. This can go really crazy. I really want to see like all the cards that are released so that I can look at the current card pool and see how crazy decks can be. Maybe I should do a video also about deck building or do it on stream. I don't know exactly. You can leave some comments with ideas if you want to help me out with something. Because I want to do some content, but I'm not sure exactly what type of content you guys would want to see. But the cards we got this expansion seem pretty solid and juicy and like tempting and interesting. Anyways, Crystal Stag, 5 mana 4/4, rush, and then has a battle cry. If you've restored 5 health this game, summon a copy of this. We were saying that we would definitely play a 5 mana 5/5 rush. This is a 5 mana 4/4, but you get 2 of them if you've healed. To analyze this card is pretty easy. Garbage if you haven't healed 5. Great if you did. How often are you going to restore 5 health until turn 5 as a druid? Unless you get some cards that do it. I don't think there's any cards that do that in standard. So I would say it's trashy right now. But if druid has a way to consistently play this bad boy on curve, good. So probably will be bad. Crystal Power, choose one. Deal 2 damage to a minion or restore 5 health. Oh. XD. Okay. I think you need to restore the health for it to count for this. So you need to be damaged and restore the health. So maybe your opponent is just not going to damage you and then you don't restore anything. Or how does it work? Yeah, I think it works like that. Because if you're at 28 health and you go restore 5 on your health, on your face, it says +2 there. So it counts as you restore 2, not 5. So I still think this is pretty icky. I don't know if I like it that much, this card. I like the design, it's interesting. It works and has synergy with the Druid Legendary, because you can cast it once and then get 2 more copies of both options to your hand. So when you deal 2 damage, it's basically the first iteration of Spellstone. When you restore 5 health, you restore 5 health. It's not that great. But again, this is going to be good with the Druid Legendary. But where would you want to play them together? I don't know. Like, when you're playing this Legendary, you probably want better value. Something like what Nourish gives you, let's say. But even Nourish... Fellord Betrug. Whenever you draw a minion, summon a copy with Rush that dies at the end of the turn. Another interesting card for Warlock. Pretty hard to analyze. And again, we see Rush mechanic. Seems like Blizzard really likes it. I think it's pretty nice, the Rush mechanic. I like it a lot too. Yeah, it's super hard to analyze. It can be used with some dev rattles that can be like super good. But whenever you draw... So it doesn't have like an instant effect. Like you can go this and then tap and then hope you get something. It's kind of like Dollmaster Dorian. But you get the full body. So you can trade with it. I don't know, it's so hard to evaluate this card. I'm gonna do a proper evaluation of this card at the end when we see all the cards. I need to look for more synergies to be able to judge this card. Hecklebot, 4 mana 3/8. Taunt. Battlecry, your opponent summons a minion from their deck. So it's basically like Deathlord, which is the Battlecry. So like Dirty Rat means Deathlord. I think it's weaker than Dirty Rat. Simply because if your opponent knows you play this, they can just hold their combo pieces into their hand. Obviously, they're not always going to be offered the combo pieces, but if they're offered the combo pieces, they will keep them, and then they will make Hecklebot worse. At the same time, I feel like having one disruption card in the game, one disruption card balanced like this one, is better than having no disruption cards. This was well described by somebody in my chat as a better Nosferatu. It's a Nosferatu that is not purely random. It targets minions. So I think it will see play, especially since it's in the neutral spot. And it's well statted for how much you pay. 4 mana 3/8 is pretty sweet. And it has a taunt. So it's good anti-aggro too. Walking Fountain. Oh yeah, one more thing. I think this might also see play just as a pure anti-aggro card against something like Zul, especially now with no more Doom Guards. If Zul goes token, or like whatever deck plays token-ish, you also want to play that card in that situation. So not only to disrupt combos, but also when you summon something very bad for your opponent that makes this card worth playing. 4 mana is the stat line for Senjin, which is a 3/5. So as long as you can kill your opponent's minion without him dealing more than 3 damage, it's good value. Obviously, you don't want to play Senjin in your deck, so you want to kill their minion and take like 2 damage, or maybe even 1. Yeah, this card can be good. I like it. Walking Fountain. 8 mana, 4/8. Lifesteal, Rush, Wind Fury. It's kind of like Ziliax, but more expensive. And can attack twice. But no Divine Shield, but has good stats. I like it. The question is, what Shaman deck wants to play this? Probably that slow Shaman deck, but you already have like so many expensive cards. You have to be really, really careful. Does Elemental Shaman want to play this? There's so many cards that are mid-range you want to play for board. So if we have a meta game where people want to play for the board, this can be like a super sick card. Especially late game where you need to heal a little bit. This can be like the ultimate stabilizer. I like the card, I just don't think it's insane. But I do like it. I think it's nicely statted, nicely costed, and has a very good effect. Mock Morpher, 5 mana 4/4, transform into a 4/4 copy of a different minion in your deck. In my opinion, it's too random to be good for 5 mana 4/4. I don't really see a way you can use this to combo things. I mean, I can definitely see it. Yeah, you have Maligos in your deck, you play this, transform into Maligos, kill them. Sure. The question is, how consistently are you able to do this? Also, let's say you're playing 2 Mock Morphers in your deck. What if you hit your other Mock Morpher? Like, it has combo potential. It's the kind of card that is either useless, like completely unplayable, nobody's gonna even touch it, or some mad Hearthstone genius deck builder is going to somehow make this work. Question mark. Yeah, and this guy looks like Shadowwalk. Commander Risa. 3 mana 4 for your secrets trigger twice. Card's good. Well statted. Good effect. The thing is, the effect doesn't really work with like all the secrets. You cannot repentance something twice. With Noble Sack you summon a 2/1, so it's not that amazing, but I guess it's better than nothing. With the draw, it's pretty good, but I don't think the draw secret is that good on its own, so you probably don't want it there. With the new secret, it works remarkably well. Like, it's really, really good with the new secret. Yeah, I think it's so good there. If Secret Paladin is a thing, this guy is gonna be the MVP. I mean, maybe not the MVP. The unsung hero. You're gonna play it, you're gonna like it, but you're not gonna love it. It's a bit better than Glass Knight, I think. So, it should be good and it should see play if Secret Paladin sees play. Ray of Frost. 1 mana twin spell. Freeze a minion if it's already frozen, deal 2 damage to it. Again, it's hard to evaluate twin spells because they all seem bad, but in real play, I'm sure some of them are gonna work. It's kind of like Echo, but a bit different. I feel like this card is good. I wanted to say imagine this with Mana Worm, but no more Mana Worm. Still with Sorceress, you can cast it twice for 0. There has to be a deck that can use that. There has to be a Mage deck that can use the fact that you're using a spell. 1 mana spell in Mage has to be decent. And it's a twin spell, so you get 2 1 mana spells at the price of 1. I'll say this card is gonna be decent. If I would have to rate it by stars, I would say 2.5. And last but not least, Mana Cyclone. 2 mana 2/2. For each spell you've cast this turn, add a random Mage spell to your hand. This is basically a value bomb. I like it. And it works with this. Play Sork. Play a lot of cheap spells, especially twin spells, because they're 2 cards in 1. And then boom, 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 Mana Cyclone. Perfect. we got some combos, guys. So Tempo Mage seems to got some really have gotten some really good tools. Secret Paladin is starting to look very, very playable and dangerous. Zul'jin Hunter starts to look like a deck. Priest gets some interesting tools. I like how this expansion is looking like. Rogue already got some really good tools. And we are only 50 into 135 cards in. So way more than half of the cards haven't been showed. The power level of the expansion seems to be very interesting. I would say it's high, but not Death Knight's high. So the power level of the game is still going to be lower. But this expansion is exciting. This expansion has a lot of things to offer, and like it might create and create more archetypes and destroy the metagame, I was gonna say. But yeah, I'm not really that poetic at this hour. I still want to thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the review. I recorded this after like an 8-hour stream, so it might not be like me at my best, but I promise you I'll record the rest of the reviews when I'm better rested to deliver the best quality content. And I want to do some special content too once we see all the cards, either like talk about playable decks or like what to craft. I'll think of something. Maybe I can go shortly through like all the cards and tell you like the good, the bad, and the ugly. Anyways, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a nice day.